We're doing yet another Bo Nix video, but it's necessary. It's such a shame that Nix was unable to play in the AFC Championship game, and it's fair to wonder what Super Bowl 60 would look like if not for his fractured ankle. The injury arguably cost the Broncos an appearance in the big game, but while the injury stopped his season, it didn't stop the truth. The divisional round was a total showcase for Nix, who was exceptional against the NFL's #1 pass defense. Hey, it's David Chapin. Welcome to the Wolf Sports YouTube channel. Today's video is very simple. It's a greatest hits of some of the takes about Bo Nix in the pre-draft process and early in his career. Most of these genius takes are from the mainstream sports media, but it set the tone for the consensus groupthink, which totally mischaracterized the rising superstar quarterback. There are plenty more examples we don't get to in this video because it'd be hours long. Now let me be clear, everyone is wrong sometimes, that's sports. There's no future tellers, but there's a difference between being wrong and being hateful. When supposed experts are laughing at a pick, calling it arrogant or worse, that is when we feel it's fair to hit play and let the tape speak for itself. As we've said before, the same exact thing happened for Josh Allen. A recent clip emerged of one of the experts laughing like a maniac when the Bills picked Allen in 2018. It's like their minds can't comprehend that the consensus might not be right and that anyone thinking differently is othered. At some point, maybe these people should slow down and not be so negative. With that, enjoy.
And to be light about it, the entire football world's correct that Bo Nix wasn't a first-round pick and 12 was crazy. That's not going to look great for Sean Payton. So we'll see. And then in my opinion and others, they massively overdrafted a quarterback that is, past the age most NFL players retire when entering the league. And so I think those are question marks, and so we'll see. That's what I would say. And here's the question I have. What evidence do we have that Sean Payton is good at picking quarterbacks? And now he takes a guy that the consensus said was a second-round pick at number 12. He's great at getting the most out of the quarterback you have. But do we have any evidence he's good at actually scouting the position? They might be totally different skill sets, and his resume says that maybe they are.
My goodness, this is an arrogant pick. I promise you, I've talked to at least 10 guys in the league. Nobody else had a first-round grade on him. I love his competitiveness. I think he's a smart football guy. He's going to give you every ounce of him. But if I'm running an organization here, I think he's probably a backup.
Craig, we don't talk about Nix and the Broncos very much. What are your expectations for Nix and the Broncos
3
this
wins,
season?
4 wins. Let's not get it twisted, though. Bo Nix was not the quarterback that the Denver Broncos wanted in this draft. He's the quarterback that fell to them in this draft. And the notion that Sean Payton is going to take it easy on Bo Nix, that ain't going to happen. And it's funny to me that Sean Payton, who's got the $90 million guaranteed contract, who's got the Super Bowl trophy, in his closet at home, and many people view him as a borderline Hall of Fame head coach with all the success he had with Drew Brees. He made a decision to walk away from a veteran quarterback with Super Bowl experience, right? For a rookie quarterback that most people think is not an NFL quarterback. Does that make any sense at all to anybody?
If Bo Nix goes in the first round, the general manager for that franchise should be fired the next day and thrown in prison. Bo Nix, a guy who struggled in the system beforehand at Auburn, where he had to sit back in the pocket, survey the field, and then throw it downfield. The stuff where he improved the last couple of years wasn't because of Bo Nix's improvements. It was because of the offensive system he was playing in. He had the third fastest release time in the NCAA in terms of, after the snap, getting it out, because they just did a bunch of funnel screens on the outside, different stuff like that, or screening it to Bucky Irving. They didn't make him sit back in the pocket. That's why he ended up having that 45-3 TDI&T rate, and why his pressure numbers are so good, because they just had him get the ball out right away. When you have Bo Nix sitting back there in the pocket and allowing him to survey his option downfield, that's where you start getting in trouble. His arm is solid in the intermediate range. He knows how to spin it, different stuff like that. The arm strength, though, is not a bazooka when you start going downfield, and he doesn't have the pocket presence for that either. He was inoculated from that because of the offensive system, like I mentioned. For me, he's a late third-round guy, maybe even a fourth-round guy. I know he's going to go above that in the NFL draft, but he should not be going in the first round. I would be very surprised if he ends up there. I thought it was an utter abomination of a pick. I comp him to Kenny
But what do you
Pickett.
really think?
The
Good call.
the thing that I'll say, I thought that they had guaranteed themselves one of the 2 yearly Fs that I give out in the bell curve methodology that I do with my grading.
There were 2 picks in I think the entire draft that I gave an F. One, Michael Penix, we just went over that. The second was Bo Nix. Bo Nix at 12 is just as crazy. I mean, I think it's even worse than Penix at 8. Maybe it's better because Nix will play this year, but in terms of like talent, I don't get it.
Talk about another older guy, or has a lot of starts, and he succeeded this year when they took things away from him, which is very curious. Kind of made the offense a little more point shoot, limit some sort of scope, making a lot of checkdowns, a lot of quick game RPO stuff, a lot of stuff on the outside. Yeah, I had him as another third rounder. Again, I thought I didn't even think the Broncos would like him. Sean Payton would like him. Let's just say, not even say the Broncos, Sean Payton. Like seeing Nix in this offense, it's like, okay, Teddy made this work. Teddy was a lot more accurate. Teddy was a lot more consistent. And that's the hope, is being kind of like a real quick, ruthless, quick game operator. I think that's like maybe what he wants to get to. There's stuff there, but I think that's a natural limitation on your offense. So it's like you're already capping your offense, even if you can make him a starter, which I thought like maybe he could be like a Heineke plus Nix could, but it's like that's a cap. That's what, 18th best quarterback, maybe in a great offense with a great play caller and everything. So. But now it's like, oh, QBs don't go round 2. So that might mean round 3 or late round 1. And it's like, then it's like, you guys took this guy, but it's still like pick 28 makes more sense, or pick 30. But no, pick 12. Standing pat, pick 12 for a quarterback that I think is kind of capped out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just kind of baffled, like what traits the Broncos saw that said, we got to get this guy.
No, they decided to take him at 12, and I feel like they're trying so hard to convince us that this Bo Nix thing is real that I don't want to, I can't bring myself to believe there. So I think this is like comfortably the worst team in the AFC West. I just can't believe that Sean Payton, this is his all-in move. We're going with Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton. Just a little strange to me.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bo Nix selection felt like they're really trying to convince themselves that he's the guy. It felt like just like, hey, if we put, first round in front of his name, it makes him better, right? Like that. It seemed like a couple teams did that actually in this draft. We'll just keep making that quarterback contract argument. It doesn't matter if the player's a negative player, huh? As long as he's cheap. But apparently, but with Nix, I just you need a machine operator to operate that offense. And I know Nix is older, should be a negative, and that how you talk yourselves into it is going, well, he's going to be able to hit the pros quickly. Like he's going to grasp the game really quickly. I don't know. That's a weird equation to map up. Like all this sounds like in theory, like they wrote it on paper and they're like, age, that means good and experienced, like high accuracy. That means we can run quick game. Like they said it without actually watching how Nix plays and actually what they idealistically do. So it never made sense to me. We'll see how it goes.
I am not a Bo Nix guy. I will not be a Bo Nix guy for a while. And I think that what I have in common with the other not Bo Nix guys is how much college football you watch. And so I saw your guy Solak make this point that if you were not high on Bo Nix going into the draft and there really wasn't that much in the season that should change your mind, it's a lot of passes behind the line of scrimmage, a lot of use the scheme to make it easy for you. And that catches up to you, right? No matter how good you think Sean Payton is, you can only scheme your way but so far if that's the scheme you got to do to make it work with your quarterback.
So should we believe in this? Is he too high?
Okay.
Too low?
He also said Bo Nix in the next 2 years is going to be a top 4 or 5 quarterback in the world.
Yep.
He also said he's going to be a superstar. I'm just calling it as I see it. And right now, is there any other team this year or any year that you can remember that had the pretty universally accepted worst quarterback in their own division that we were like, yep, that team, look out for them. I am still skeptical of that they will get an above average offense from Bo Nix.
The Broncos seem to be basically the same version of that team. And I understand this, guys. If you go look at that box score, it's going to tell you that Bo Nix was pretty good / just fine. And I understand why you would think that. He is not good, right? Even if he played pretty good in that game, he ain't it. And it wasn't like watching that game, you got the feeling like he was it. He was not, okay? But look, they put up 22 points and they won that game. He is not it.
Well, if I may quote Bruce Willis from the legendary film Die Hard to America watching the Broncos last night, maybe for the first time for 3 hours. Welcome to the party, pal. It's what it's been every single week. And Brew, Wednesday you were here and Wilds during tears was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I think I'm going to believe in the Broncos. And then Thursday, he doubled and tripled down on it.
Ooh.
And then, because here's the deal. There's a lot of football every weekend. And the Broncos are not a super marquee team if it's not your team. And so it's a weird universe where most of the people who are watching the Broncos week in, week out the closest are Bronco fans. And they want Bo Nix to be good. And they want to puff their chest out and be like, when the Chiefs were winning close games, it was all good. And now it's not. The only other people watching the Broncos really closely are people that it's their job or gambling on it or have a vested interest in the Broncos not being good. I happen to check all three boxes. I'm gambling on it. I want them to fall back for the Chiefs, and it's my job. And I'm telling you, America, that defense is awesome.
Yeah.
And while I think Sean Payton is a little overstated at times by some members of the media, I think he designs an offense where guys do seem to run open a fair amount. And their quarterback cannot hit them, having what is right now a bottom 5 or 6 production from the quarterback position. They have a great defense, and the defense makes them frisky. But that offense and that quarterback make them. Every other AFC playoff team, Brew, is going to be saying, please give us the Broncos. Of all the available teams, give us them. Because, again, there's not going to be any bad teams in the playoffs. He is going to be the worst quarterback in these playoffs by such a wide margin that you're just going to roll the dice with him.
Do we believe in Bo? Where are you with the Broncos?
Yeah, I've always held my doubts about Bo, so it's hard for me to get fully on the train. So, somebody asked me in a column in like week 9. They were like, are you ready to take the Broncos seriously as AFC contenders? I just wrote like, no. Like I didn't even explain it, and Broncos fans got really mad at me. I will say that just Denver against the Jaguars, you saw the difference in the potency of those passing games, right? It's just quarterbacks like Lawrence, guys who have more arm talent, who are more aggressive, who are more accurate throwing downfield, just give you more in terms of your ability to play your way out of holes. I know the Broncos have won these comeback games, but to put a little bit more stress on defenses.
Bills win this game 27-13, and it's not some close classic. The Bills win. The Bills are in control of this game and win this game, and Bo Nix makes a big mistake in it. That's my official prediction for how the Broncos season ends.
Again, we've done a few Nix videos already, breaking down his clutch play, his skill set being pretty much top tier and not getting respect. So if you've watched those videos, you sort of know what it is. So this is not a breakdown of the divisional round performance against the Bills, which all you had to do was watch and see was outstanding. And I think a lot of people woke up and were like, this is the guy that everyone said is not good and carried by his team or whatever they said. And then you contrast all this with the actual players, voted him NFL Top 100 player last season. That voting isn't perfect, but still. And veteran safety Justin Reed was recently on Kay Adams' show and said that Nix is the best quarterback in the NFL. Turns out he kind of thought it was the playoff teams, so didn't include Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. But still, I mean, you had good quarterbacks in the Final Four, including Matthew Stafford, who is probably going to be the MVP. So there's a definite disconnect with, I guess you can say, people that have sort of shown they don't know what they're talking about or no reason to take them seriously compared with NFL players. The value of Nix had been very clear through 2 NFL seasons. The narrative about his ability has been very unfair both to him and to NFL fans looking for trusted analysis.